For most of its history, Qantas has been unassailable, one of those iconic and much-loved Australian companies. But it's going through a tough time, with bitter industrial disputes last year causing management to briefly ground the airline. In the 4 years that Alan Joyce has been the CEO, the Qantas share price has halved. Today, the bad news continued, with the national carrier posting its first annual loss since it was fully privatised in the mid-90s. Qantas management is confident its strategy to get Qantas back in the black is on track, and shortly Alan Joyce will join me. But first, this report from Greg Hoy.
Even announcing a 90% fall in net profit today and the first statutory loss for Qantas in 17 years, Alan Joyce was endeavouring to look on the bright side.
We are financially strong, profitable at an underlying level.
He blamed the large losses on the soaring dollar, fuel prices and the drag on profits of Qantas International. But Alan Joyce claims the airline is slowly turning the corner.
The benefits of our transformation program have started to come true.
So is the Qantas chief's air defence a fair defence?
We've got the first loss in 17 years for a management who's completely lost their way.
The reality is it is a statutory loss. That is the true result of the company, and we believe the management and board should be clearly accountable for the company's performance and its result.
And it's not just shareholders, it seems, concerned how Qantas portrays its profit and loss. Former senior Qantas executives have also voiced their concern to 7:30 about the credibility and transparency of Qantas accounts, endorsing the protests of others.
Why has it taken so long for everybody to realise that the international business of Qantas could well lose $500 million this year? It was 2 or 3 years ago they were saying it was losing $120 million. And really, no one really knows where the costs were being allocated.
We know that there are quite a few organisations and quite a few accountants going through the Qantas results, and it does appear that the disclosure is very difficult to understand.
There is also strong concern, including amongst former executives, that the airline tries to shift as many costs as it can away from its low-cost carrier Jetstar and onto the books of Qantas. The aim, the critics claim, is to bolster Qantas's campaign to slash labour costs and to boost that side of the business with the least government regulation.
They'll do pretty much whatever it is they have to keep Jetstar looking as profitable as it possibly can.
Aviation unions also claim Qantas cooks the books to enhance Jetstar and justify cutting staff or their conditions at Qantas. Qantas pilot Captain Brad Hodson.
The law does require them to really be transparent, and really I think we'd say at this particular point in time that's not the case.
They've put all these costs on their Jetstar expansion, operations that aren't successful overseas, onto their international Qantas arm, and they're trying to say that it's everybody's fault other than the executives who have paid themselves an 82% increase in executive pay in the last 3 years.
Dr Tony Webber was chief economist at the Qantas Group from 2004 until last year.
What I do think has happened is that Jetstar enjoys a number of services that they don't actually pay for, such as the legal department, corporate communications, investor relations, all of those overheads, back office overheads.
Dr Webber believes this is for accounting convenience rather than deliberate deception. Qantas now says it will split its domestic and international arms into separate management teams but under one corporate umbrella, leaving many suspicious about the transparency of Qantas accounts.
Until Qantas is split into 2 separate companies with 2 air operator certificates, just like Virgin is today, the Australian investment public will never know how the business is travelling.
With industrial tensions still simmering, Alan Joyce has just offered to forego his bonuses that last year lifted his remuneration by around $2 million to almost $5 million, salting the wounds of Q catering staff in Adelaide, who say they've been in limbo for 6 months, waiting to hear when their jobs will be axed.
Many of them have been there for decades, finding their wages, their job security being slashed and burned, And to find Alan Joyce saying that he may forego a bonus, now he should be handing that $2 million back, and he should be taking a 62% decrease in income in line with what the shareholder value drop has been in the last 3 years.
Who would want to be the head of Qantas? Well, actually, while Qantas remains on the defensive, its key competitor, Virgin Australia, is on the attack. Qantas defector John Borghetti, who was overlooked for the chief executive's job that went to Alan Joyce, has now turned on his former employer with a vengeance as Virgin's chief, dragging the budget carrier up market.
He seems like he's doing a number on his good mate Alan Joyce at the moment. He's taking some market share away from him. He's expanding very, very quickly.
Qantas has pursued what we term risky ventures into Asia, Red Q, Jetstar Pacific. Pretty much most of those things, they spent a lot of money, but there's no return on capital there.
Aviation unions recently surveyed staff at Virgin and Qantas to ask if the right management was running the airline.
85% of employees do not have confidence in the direction that Qantas is taking. And when you compare that with their major competitor in the domestic market, Virgin, there's only 1.5% of employees at Virgin do not have confidence in their management.
But it's not just unions beginning to ask if Qantas should remain in the hands of current management.
Management have failed to articulate a clear path into the future.
Unfortunately, it appears the current management doesn't seem to have an answer for what's going on.
Private equity guys out there are looking at the numbers very, very closely. There might be an opportunity to buy and carve up Qantas, as they attempted to do a few years back.
And earlier today, I spoke to the Qantas Chief Executive, Alan Joyce. Alan Joyce, welcome again to the program.
Thanks, Lee. It's good to be here with you.
The question I'm sure passengers would like me to ask you is, what does a substantial loss like this mean for them? Will it make any difference to people who fly Qantas?
No, it won't. I mean, we're still investing very much for the future in Qantas. We're spending $1.9 billion for new aircraft this year and next year. We've gotten the fleet down to the lowest age it's been in some time, 8.3 years of age. We're investing in new lounges, new entertainment system. So that investment is a very important part of the turnaround that we're planning for the international and the domestic business.
A lot of people will remember the industrial action last year and the decision to shut down flights briefly. What's your internal research telling you about the impact that that's had on customer attitudes and customer loyalty?
Yeah, customer loyalty for the premium Qantas brand is as strong as it's ever been. We're seeing that customer advocacy, which is people's impressions of Qantas when they fly, people's impressions of our product and our service, is at the highest levels it's ever been. So we're very confident that we're in a very good position in terms of customer loyalty, in terms of customer focus, and in terms of where the brand is positioned.
If that's the case, then why is it that in the Skytrax World Airline Awards, which surveyed millions of passengers worldwide, Qantas dropped from 8th to 15th on the list of the world's best airlines? And why is it also that tens of thousands of your frequent flyers took up a deal with Virgin to transfer their status across there?
Well, I think one of the things that's there's plenty of surveys out there around the world in terms of different research and rate the airlines, and we've won with the travel agency community Best Airline of the Year again for I think the 4th or 5th year in a row. We've won other awards for being the best airline. Even Skytrax, we won the best airport lounges. So there's plenty of different information out there.
So you don't accept there has been any brand damage done by what's gone on over the past year?
Absolutely. We believe that our brand is healthier, and our own
no damage at all.
Our own internal customer advocacy shows that it's actually at the strength, its best strength it's been, the best ratings that we've ever seen. And of course, you know, for us, it's very important that we measure a whole series of dimensions about the Qantas brand. We measure the dimensions about our safety reputation. We measure dimensions about being an iconic brand. And they're back to the healthy levels they were before the action.
For quite a while, we've been hearing from Qantas that your domestic business is really strong, but your international business is struggling. Why then does Qantas not say, all right, there's other airlines around the world that have advantages we don't have that allow them to be profitable internationally? We simply aren't, and so we're not going to put eggs into that basket.
Well, The international business is a business that has been impacted by two things in particular. First of all is high fuel prices, which is impacting nearly every long-haul carrier around the world. We've seen big losses by a lot of big carriers now being reported in the last 6 months, and a lot of those carriers are going through their own restructuring program. We have the added problem of the high Australian dollar, because before the global financial crisis, an averaged at $70 to the US dollar. Now it's 105. And most of our competitors are competing in US dollars, so that's a 50% increase in our cost base. So for us, we do have those challenges.
But isn't the problem that these challenges you're facing, the high dollar, the global downturn, the high fuel prices, nobody expects those things to resolve in the short term. In fact, they could be things that are here to stay for quite a while. We've also got the issue that Australia is just geographically at the end of the line. Those are things that really Qantas is never going to be able to overcome. They're here to stay, and there are other airlines that can cope much better with those factors.
Well, we've said that we have a comprehensive plan to make sure that Qantas does adapt to the current market situations, the high fuel price, the high Australian dollar, and we have to adapt to that.
But I'm just wondering why. Why do you want to stay and expand in that area of the market when you do have these really difficult challenges, yet you've got this domestic market that works really well for you?
Well, we do believe that the international business is a key part of what we do.
And
the
why?
International business, it does link to domestic, it does link to frequent flyer. Those businesses do need a strong international operation. And we do believe that there's no silver bullet to fix international. It means a lot of hard work. We've outlined our 4-pillar strategy last year. We're busily implementing that strategy. We've announced a huge amount of transformation, closing down heavy maintenance base, catering centres to make that business efficient, doing new deals with new partners around the world, like American Airlines to Dallas, which is going very well, LAN to South America. We are working very heavily on the customer product, the new aircraft, the fuel-efficient aircraft, and we are working on expanding our operation into key markets.
The Transport Workers Union says that there are 19 separate industrial agreements up for renegotiation that have the potential to disrupt Qantas operations. Do passengers need to be worried about further inconvenience?
Well, we have a huge amount of agreements that are coming up all the time, and we work through the vast majority of those and continue to work through them. I think there's 54 agreements with 14 different unions, and nearly every other month is one agreement that we do. And I think
that sounds like a lot of potential for disruption.
No, it isn't. But a lot of businesses are like this, and a lot of businesses have to work through them. I think it's sad that some of the union leaders are out there trying to continually damage the Qantas brand, trying to continuously damage the business, and trying to continually damage their members' jobs in the organisation. I think that's sad.
But why would they be motivated by that?
But I think there's people out there that obviously have their own agendas and they're pursuing their own agendas. My focus is on turning this great business, Qantas International business, around to have the same success with that business that we had with domestic, with Jetstar and frequent flyer. And we won't be distracted by the noises that some of people out there, the armchair drivers, will make. Our focus is on delivering on what's sensible for our employees, our customers and our shareholders.
Alan Joyce, thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.